Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. What's up? How you doing? Buenas noches. ¿Cómo está? Hello, hello. Bonjour. Every language we can think about, God is good, and we hear one more time. And again, I'm your host, Jermaine McCrimmon. Welcome, welcome all to Humanity Unplugged podcast. We'd like to thank you guys for tuning in. Hopefully, you guys had a great weekend. We got a lot to talk about today. This is episode, I believe, 32 or 33. I don't even know. I'm going to be honest with you. All I know is Monday is May 5th, 2025. I'm recording this ahead of time because I like to give it to you on time. If you don't mind, I like to stay on time. And I must say so myself, uh, God is still in control. First and foremost, He gave us the wisdom and knowledge and the understanding to be here one more time and again. Guys, I just want to talk about a few things, not too many videos, no sad news at all. We're going to start differently, as I said in the past, about giving you just information all around, not just tragedies and incidents that happen throughout the country, but we're going to give you some more community based information as well. And today we're going to talk about a man that was wrongly convicted in a crime back in 2019. He's been released now. That is great news. Also, we're going to talk about North Carolina Central University. No one talked about this, but they were gifted $1 million for the AI program, the project. And we got a little skit on that. That's very much something we need to talk about. And we have some other things to talk about the Knicks, New York Knicks. I don't know if you guys had a beautiful weekend the way I did, but I'm from New York, and anytime a New York team goes to the next round or do something great, we got to talk about that. So we're going to talk about New York Knicks along with the Golden State Warriors. I'm a San Francisco 49er fan, and Golden State is like part of the San Fran. You get it, state to state, Golden State, San Francisco, the bridge, we all together. They did their thing in a game 7, as well as the Knicks did. So they're moving on past the Rockets. We're going to talk about an up and coming show as well with my good friend Glenn Cannon, all in this episode of Humanity Unplugged. So we're going to start off today and give you something. We're going to talk about the donation that was given to HB College, HBS, I think it's HBCU college that was given $1 million, which is really good because these are Black colleges that need funding. And throughout the country, if we don't self-educate our own, who's going to do it, right? Who's going to give you the wisdom and knowledge you need to be great and continue on doing what you're doing? Well, you won't get it unless they offer the programs to you. I don't know if you've been around or you guys been listening to the great man, Trumpy Trump. Trumpy Trump has been closing and shutting down everything. Everything. I mean, everything. He's been shutting it down. So when we have an opportunity to get some things and hopefully more funding, we need to talk about it. So here we go. It's not long. It's about 40, 50 seconds of a clip. Just give you a little more insight of what's going on and how this can affect people in the future. Because if they're giving out funding for an AI project, that means AI is going to be based in a lot of formats and jobs. It might even be a particular uh, category you can apply for in certain jobs with AI projects and talking and knowing how to communicate through AI. So here we go, people.
New this noon, Google has announced a $1 million gift to North Carolina Central University to establish an institute for AI research. Leaders at the university say this will be a first of its kind institute at an HBCU in the U.S. The initiative will provide cutting edge courses, mentorship, and hands-on research opportunities with artificial intelligence.
So already, guys, we're finding out that, yes, there's going to be other things opening up to go with this program and go with this scholarship or this grant they're giving them. They don't have to pay back $1 million given by Google. It's a gift. And, you know, it's beautiful that they're doing that. And we need more people to give big money like that.
So we recognize that talent is equal, but often opportunity is not. And so our goal here is to make sure that we're leveling.
I have to stop there. And, you know, guys, she said talent is equal, but opportunity is not. And I must agree with you, over the years of being in the field and doing what I do, and also talking with other friends of mine and people throughout, you notice that just because you have a degree, just because you can speak or articulate yourself properly, doesn't guarantee that you will have a job. The opportunity is not there all the time. Or they looking for a particular thing and they add things into this, and you might not have this, but you have that, and that doesn't equal up to this, and it's always something. It's always something. So this is good to know, good to understand. Perhaps this program can help and be a blessing. Let's see.
And making sure that everyone has an opportunity to participate, not just in the development of artificial intelligence, but the research as well.
The grant will directly impact up to 200 students in its first 2 years.
So they already let you know in the first 2 years, this grant will affect people, right? So imagine if it's doing 200 people this year. This is old, actually. This has happened, I think, 24, when this actually took place. So in the next 2 years, which would be 26, is when you're going to start to see a rise. And we're already seeing a rise in AI and AI production. So we need to understand that we need to start moving and getting certain certifications and moving that way so we can be part of that next hiring stream of people and demographics going into employment with AI. And that's important. We have to do that. We have to know that. We have to understand what we see the movement and where's it going, how's it going, how can we get minority and people involved in this moving forward thinking like this. So once we do that, it'll be a better situation for everybody, and it's going to help the economy, because nowadays just having a degree, just having certifications, just having certificates, not already said certificate, just having a special skill set necessarily doesn't get you the job you're looking for. Sometimes it's not what you know, it's who you know, who can open the door to get them to have a spotlight shine your way so you can then walk through the door if possible. On another note, and it's still, you know, I love it, it's positive, it's things we need to do. We have to talk about more positive things going on, and I got to talk about this because this is positive, and you might not like it, but for us New York fans, we love it. You know, New York Knicks did have a game 7. Well, not really game 7. They had a big game. It could have been a game 7, but a very, very big game against, who did they play? I forgot. Well, they played Detroit Pistons. They played them, and they won a away game against Detroit Pistons. It was great to see us come together and move forward. We haven't been in the playoffs and did this run a long time. So we want the next level and the next thing we got to go through. New York got to go through Boston Celtics, and unfortunately, a lot of people are counting the Knicks out because Boston is deep. They play team basketball, and the coach for the Knicks play 7 to 8 players only, and that's he likes to burn them out. And if you do this during this series, it's going to be over quick. And that's what people are saying. The coach, Thibodeau, He has to change the way he's coaching. He's playing too many minutes for Bronson. He's not giving other players off the bench the time they need, so that way Bronson legs will be fresh, Townsend legs will be fresh, Bridges legs will be fresh. The Hart legs will be fresh. Because Hart is key, even though I don't like him at times, but he's a hustle man. He's your Dennis Rodman of the team. He gets the job done no matter what, and that's what you need. You need guys that know how to get the job done. They're going to need some sharp shooting from outside. They're going to need other players to come off the bench and hit high, hard, and they got to constantly keep the ball on a swivel against Boston, and that's the problem. They run good for 3 quarters, the Knicks, and normally by the fourth quarter, they burnt out. They don't have nothing left because you done ran them all 3 quarters too long. So my blessings and wishes go out to them. If they don't shape up, it's going to be a quick series with the Knicks. Now we move forward to Golden State Warriors. They had a game 7 against the Houston Rockets. There's reasons to be that, yes, Golden State was a better team because, yeah, they had more of a veteran team. They had Jimmy Buckets. You got one of the best, greatest three-point shooters in the world with Curry, and you had a good coach that knows how to coach them, and they've been through diversity before. Now, Houston, on the other hand, had a bunch of young guns, young killers there, and they shooting. But there's some things I missed, and this is where they got to grow. This is why they lost this series. They lost this series because they didn't have a go-to move. You know, Roy Jones, one of the greatest boxers that ever lived, had that jab. He could put a jab anywhere on your body, and he can have the jab hanging on his hip. He can bring it up and give you 2 punches with his jabs before you can swing with one of your hands. That's how fast he was in his eye and hand coordination. He had a go-to move. Michael Jordan had a turnaround, back down, turnaround, fadeaway. That was his move. Charles Barkley had a move. Shaquille O'Neal had a move. Tracy McGrady had his move. Kobe Bryant had a move. They all had signature moves. When they needed a basket, they knew how to go get a basket. And the problem with Houston Rockets is they had nobody that knew how to get a basket consistently when the other team makes a run. Note to self. Jalen Green, one of the superstars on that team, I need you to go get a game. Yes, you got splendid hops. Yes, you can jump out the building. Yes, you quick as lightning. Yes, you dress unorthodox. You'll fly in all the world. I got more praises to you. But when we need a basket, you're not there. You had a triple to quadruple game of 8 points in the playoffs. I'll say it again. 8 to 6 points in the playoffs per game, the first 3 games. And the last game, I don't think you had more than 8 either. Stop it. That don't make any sense that you the man there and you're not producing in the playoffs, deep in the playoffs. And that's because if you ask him to show you his go-to move, you might not want to admit it, guys. I'm just telling the truth. It might offend some people. This is just my opinion. But if I'm so wrong, show it to me in the league. Show it to me in the replay. Show me where he went and got a basket when he needed a basket every time he needed a basket. He got athleticism where he can jump up and hang time and all that. That's cool. But that don't guarantee you a basket. You need to know how to go get a basket when you need a basket. That means you need to get a turnaround, a back them down. You need to be able to do a cross or pull up, step back. You must have a go-to move. Even Harden, James Harden, one of the best guys in the world. They lost also. We had a game 7 between Denver and the Clippers. Game 7, Harden, he wasn't around, but before he can get hot, the game was over with. They won the game by late second quarter. They were down huge. There was no need for Harden to try to get warm. Then it was over. Denver was playing, but James Harden has a go-to move, the step back, the cross, the whoppy wop with the handle. He does what he do, and it gets him a basket when he really needs the basket. I would suggest these young players like Jalen Green, these young players like what's the kid name? He's a small forward on Houston. He can shoot the rock, lights out. His jersey number 30. He got a Carmelo Anthony build to him a little bit. Tall, got the big range shake, got the 3-pointer cooking. They need to go to Carmelo Anthony school of knowing how to get a basket. And they need to learn from these veterans that knew how to go in there and get their 17, get their 20 points per game easy without breaking a sweat. You're going to realize, guys, if you watch sports like I do and you really critique sports like I do, when you're playing on this level, and it's the highest level possible, unnecessary movements take a lot of your energy away, and you don't want that in professional basketball. And we hope that the Rockets, they go to school. These kids got to go to, after it's all over the NBA, your season is over now, you get back in there and you produce, you work on your craft. It's just like anybody else. A fisherman works on his craft. A welder works on his craft. A guitar man that plays guitar all the time, he practices. Drum set practices. Everybody practices their craft. A cop go to the range, reads the law. He practices craft. A lawyer does the same. It's the same thing in sports. You must practice to get your move down pat, because that is your bread and butter. I wish these guys the best when it comes to that, because without having that, without going to practice, without studying your field, you will not get any better in whatever craft you're in. So we have to understand that. Same thing with your profession. Whatever you're doing for a profession, a cook got to constantly practice. A chef got to make sure his utensils are sharp, his knives are sharp. He got the right ingredients for whatever dish he's trying to prepare. The stove is right, the temperature is right. Everything, the freshest produce is there available for him to have the best results of whatever dish he's trying to prepare. We have to understand that. We need to know that. In everything we do, there's a process. You got to stay at it. It don't just get better overnight unless you put work in. You don't put work in, you can't get results out. It's that simple in life. So hopefully we'll go forward in that and get better. We'll get better. If we can get better, things can work out for us. So the next thing we're going to talk about, I didn't mean to ramble a little bit, but I had to talk about that. That was pretty good. I got to talk about this young man that we know. He was released from prison. He was in there for a while. It's not long, but it's something for us to see. Let's check it out.
Prosecutors brought more charges against Jerry Sims this week after one of the key witnesses in his 2019 trial recanted her testimony and made shocking allegations against the East Cleveland police chief. News 5's Remy Murray was there as Sims walked free today. She joins us now with more.
Rob, when we arrived at the Justice Center around 1, expecting Jerry Sims to be released between that time and 3, but it would be close to another 3 hours before Sims would meet his attorney, family, and friends just before 6 Thursday evening.
Greeted with cheers and an instant hug. From one of Jerry Sims' daughters, it's clear Sims' family and attorney Kimberly Kendall did not hold back their excitement to see Sims finally free once the state recently found he was unfairly convicted in an aggravated murder in 2019.
Now, guys, what's so special and proud to see this is a man that was eventually, he was innocent. And, he did some time. 2019, it's 2025. He did 6 years in prison. When we look at that, and we're going to talk about this a little bit after the video's over, where do we start from there? 6 years.
this has been a very long journey, and today's a super big moment for celebration because it represents the end of an injustice, but it also represents the beginning of the journey to restoring justice.
News 5 first began following this case earlier in January when Karrie filed a 43-page post-conviction petition to get a new trial for Sims. Karrie claims Sims did not receive a fair process due to a romantic relationship she said took place between the state's key witness and then investigating detective who is now East Cleveland's police chief, Kim Lundy.
This man has lost more than 8 years of his life, and he had so many people who love him and who needed him during that time. And it means a lot that we were able to vacate that wrongful conviction.
As Sims walks away from his 40.5 years to life in prison sentence.
Thank you, my brother. You're the best. Gotta give it to you.
We reached out to the Cuyahoga County Prosecutor's Office, and they sent us a statement saying on Tuesday it was established that a key witness and a detective from the East Cleveland Police Department engaged in a romantic relationship before, during, and after the trial. The prosecutors say the relationship was unknown to them and trial prosecutors, so they say the state conceded that constitutional violation occurred at trial.
Y'all hear that? So they're saying it was an error. Okay, we made an error. You know, my bad. They were sleeping together, you know, hanky panky during the trial. They shouldn't have did that. So you know, we violated your rights. Okay, we don't let you go home. Here go your bag. Here go about $300 for your trials and tribulations. We see you later.
They also say a retrial is not possible at this time due to existing evidence.
We were shocked and surprised in the best of ways when the county joined us in asking to have his murder conviction, his wrongful murder conviction vacated.
We reached out to Chief Kim Lundy, but he has yet to respond back to our request. In the meantime, the prosecutor's office says they remain frustrated at the corruption and lack of professionalism that continues to be exhibited by many in the East Cleveland Police Department.
Someone needs to be held accountable. But today we're focused on celebrating just an end to his wrongful incarceration.
So it sounds like, guys, that this been going on for a long time over there in East Cleveland. Corruption. Innocent people going to jail and not getting their chance to due diligence to be free. It's horrible. It happens all the time. And it's not spoken about. It's underneath the table. A lot of times, there's quite a few people I can just imagine that's in jail who's wrongly convicted and put themselves in these situations unintentionally, of course. No one intentionally says I'm going to do something that's going to make me go away and be away from my family. But just being in these situations, sometimes you can be innocent and still be treated as a guilty person, convicted, and now you're doing time. Could you imagine how many birthdays this man missed? The job he had, the time away from his family that he can never get back. Can you imagine that? I can only imagine how he had to sleep in prison. Everybody in prison, you know, don't have all the marbles upstairs. Everybody in prison, you know, is not your friend. Some people in prison look at you as prey, as food. And you have to defend yourself. And sometimes, and oftentimes, in jail, you pick up other bids and other charges because you was just, protecting yourself. A lot of times, people in prison, they find themselves going to the Muslim nation to seek protection against the predators, seek protection against the offenders in there that doesn't care. They have these lifetime bids, or they got 2 or 3 consecutive life sentences who never coming out, and they don't have a problem going to try to take your manhood. And could you imagine that for this young man, or for anybody that's in jail every day? You got to fight to keep your manhood. I said that every day you got to fight for that in prison. You know, one day somebody's going to test you, and you might have to do the ultimate thing just to keep your sanity and your manhood. I don't wish prison on anyone, and I don't think prison is for anyone. I do believe that there's a justice system and he sits high and looks low, and he'll take care of it for you. Unfortunately, the world that we live in doesn't go by that. And sometimes when you have a different skin color, you're picked on more than others. And this goes on throughout the world. If you notice and you pay attention to our news, you'll see that President Trump is picking on Mexican people right now, immigrants or in its entirety, people that doesn't have citizenship here in the United States. Texas people over in Texas probably have been complaining the most about the overpopulation of immigrants crossing through the borders in the backyards of people down there, and they're getting tired of it. And I understand the I can just say the overcrowdedness of people in Texas and all over the world has been a burden on everyone, and now, along with the overcrowdedness of people, we have go to the stores, you can't find your goods. The depression of that, then the depression of not having a job, the depression of being able or not being able to feed your family. These things weigh heavy on all people, not just American people. We have to understand that everyone is suffering some type of way. So, as we go through our everyday and we go through our ups and our downs, I'm just here to try to give you a positive message, a positive word to let you understand that, a delay is not a denial. And please understand, everyone you hang out with is not your friend. Everyone that's there, that's sitting in your corner, don't have your best interests for you. Sometimes you got to just look at people for what value they have, understand the value they bring, and don't put no more on them than that. It's important we think like that, because when you expect something more from a person that they can't give you, you set yourself up for a crash. You set yourself up for the disgusting feeling of a person letting you down or wasn't there for you. But if you just use face value and tell them thank you for just being right there, and that's it, and go on, you eliminate that emotion of hurt. And sometimes hurt can lead to depression. Depression can lead to you doing and thinking things that you shouldn't be thinking, and then action go forward with that. So, guys, in this episode, if we don't get nothing else out of this episode, understand that a delay is not a denial. And in this episode, we want you to know that good things are to come. We're here to give out good news, and more good news. We're in the 5th month of the year. We're almost at the halfway point, and things are looking up. Soon we're going to have our grills turned on. We're going to be outside grilling. We're going to be sitting, chilling in the wind a little bit if we can, AC blowing, cookouts and family reunions and such. Going to the water parks and still going on with our everyday life. I wish everyone peace and happiness, and do yourself a favor. Take the time to evaluate who's around you. Take the time and evaluate what's going on in your life. Make sure you get the memo. Self-note. Sometimes everybody that's sitting there, like I tell you before, they don't have your best interests. So until next time, guys, I'm your host, Jermaine McCrimmon from Manny Unplugged. We here one more time and again. I encourage everyone on our Facebook channel, on our all social media platforms. Please check us out on the Apple Podcast. Check us out on Spotify, YouTube, Facebook. Reach out to your boy, to all my cousins that's doing their thing, Lee Kennell, Matthew, my nephew Reggie. They all got their own pages on YouTube. Look them up. They're doing their thing. We're all active. Please, let's help motivate all the fathers. Stand up and let's stand for something, or we won't fall for anything. I'm your host again, Jermaine McCrimmon. See you on Thursday.